And I mean, you made that point in that speech you made in Perth that the federal, and you've got to say this slowly, the federal environmental bureaucracy has more than tripled, while employment in agriculture throughout the country has declined by a fifth. Daniel, we can't keep heading in this direction.
No, we can't, Alan. And let me just give you one example of the kind of red tape that farmers have to deal with every day. I'll give you an example of, in Western Australia, if you're a farmer and you want to build one single irrigation pivot, which, as you know, is a big automated machine with lots of sprinklers on it to water crops. You'll see them when you drive past big estates. If you want to build one of those on your own land, you need no fewer than 8 separate licenses at the state level alone, plus more licenses and conditions at the local level and sometimes at the federal level. Again, that is for one single irrigation pivot, which is absolutely critical to any farmer that wants to manage land at scale at the state level alone on their own private farmland. So this is one example of how bureaucrats intervene into the productive capacity of farmland. You know, if you want to get rid of a single dead tree in the middle of a paddock, you needed approval from a bureaucrat. If you want to use pesticidal fertilizers, you need approval from the bureaucrat. Every single step along the way of trying to get your product grown and transporting it and selling it and getting it to market requires the approval of a bureaucrat of one form or another. And as you say, it's simply unsustainable.
Well, just before you go, we've got a major political party in this country, ostensibly, representing these people, the farmer. You and I are talking about this. Have you heard one member of that party, the National Party, let alone the leader, the brain-dead leader, raise any of these issues in a way which makes people stand up and think we need to take notice?
Well, unfortunately, not from the leadership, Alan. I could say that there's people like Senator Matt Canavan who talk about these kind of issues.
Out of the loop. Yes.
They're out of the loop, you're right, but not in terms of the leadership. It's deeply concerning. And as you say, there is no one speaking for these people. This is one of the biggest issues facing not just agriculture, but the future of our democracy. Yeah. There are millions of Australians who do not have a voice. They don't have a voice. They don't have a political home.
They don't have a political home.
They don't have a political home. And they don't have a voice in politics. They don't have a voice in corporate Australia. They don't have a voice at their schools. They don't have a voice in the media. And they're cancelled and shut down whenever they utter something that might be considered politically incorrect. So the issue you've identified about a lack of voice in politics on this issue is a much bigger issue for the future of our democracy. And that's why record numbers of Australians are voting for a third party. I know you just talked to Mark Latham. They're voting for One Nation and other parties like that because they want a voice. They want a mainstream voice that talks about these issues.
You won't get cancelled on ADH, I can tell you. That's why we exist. We had to form our own television station to have a voice. Everywhere you turned, there was a legal letter saying you can't say that and you can't say the other. And the interests of those people who are the productive part of Australia are completely ignored.